All right, I got you on video. Hey, brother Lawrence, this is brother Minister Reggie. He is setting us up, and he's gonna kind of walk you through what he's done, so you'll have.
You are going to need one.
Oh, that's broken.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you press it down, it's automatically, it's going down. So you're going to have to get one.
Okay, that's okay. I
Yeah.
can give.
All right. So pretty much we got the Nord set up. It's running on 2.66. It is fully loaded with everything. So it came on board loaded with White Grand. What I did was I set you up with 4 different patch settings. So number 1, and you have several pages, but I just gave you A bank for right now. A bank number 1 has your B3. So all you have to do is control it from the drawbars. Your Leslie switch is here since there's no onboard Leslie switch. Well, there is an actual thing there. So if you all were ever able to get one, you could actually control the Leslie from down here like a regular organ. But for now, just use that to turn the rotor on and off. It has your piano, so all your engines are separate. You have your organ engine, your keyboard engine, your synth engine. This patch has B3, White Grand, and strings. Patch 2 has B3, MKS, Electric Piano 1, and Horn Funk. 3 has B3, MKS Piano 2, which is more so the different Mike Burrell sound, and studio strings together. And then 4 has your B3, Wurlitzer, and a Gospel Shout synth from one of the special patches that just came out. So everything is already preset. Now the beauty of it is that you can actually play from both boards. So you can actually, if you want to MIDI both are on. What's very important is down here next to the screen, there's a MIDI, and it says it has to be lit. It says MIDI out. If it's not on, the bottom board won't control the top board. If it's on, you now have full control of not just the bottom board, but you also have control of the top board. So you can actually turn this up, and you can actually play all the boards together. And you have your octaves. So up here, each engine has an octave up or an octave down. I usually keep the organ at regular octave, so it's at 0, so that way it'll play mid-range from wherever you're playing from. Pianos, if you're gonna play from the bottom, I would suggest leave it at 0. So it's already preset at 0, so if you play down here, it's gonna play the piano all the way across where you don't have to worry about anything as far as transposing or octave shifting. So I'll give you an example of it. I'll turn all the engines off, except for piano, so that way you can hear where you are. And I'm gonna actually turn your EQ on, so that way your piano has a richer sound. Back in here, and then I'm gonna feed you some of what's down here. So I'll feed this first so you can actually hear what it sounds like. So if we did this, I'll put you a patch that's not on the board. So something along choir and pad. And then I'll filter you the rest of it back in. Also, too, what's going to be tricky, which it shifted just a little bit, but I'm going to tweak it so that way it does not do that. There we So your program should take you back to live sound. So what it did was it took you out of live sound. So my suggestion would be, let's see, MIDI settings. Oh, yep, perfect. So it has a way where we can tweak it where it won't change anything. So MIDI channel 1, MIDI channel, local control. Gotcha. Yeah, so what I would suggest is primarily play from this board, but control it from down here. So I wouldn't suggest changing any of the sounds down here, because this is going to tell this to change patches, and you don't want it to do that. So I would say leave it set it at grand, hit MIDI out, and then you have full control of the red board. All your sounds will just come from there. Let's see. Ah, I see what it did. I think it muted everything. Hold on, let's do it this way. Reset it. Because sometimes they can be tricky.
But basically, everything should be controlled here.
From here.
But then he has the benefit of all 88 keys down
Yep,
here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's just making sure that nothing changes or shifts anything down here. So let's go here and make sure the MIDI is still reading. MIDI is still reading. So, boom, 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 system. All right, memory protection is off. So that means if we ever have to tweak anything going down the line, we can. Numerical pad sequence is here. Function is here. Local control is there. Yeah, so it's on number 2. Yeah, so the MIDI controller is number 2. So that's what happened. It turned the number 2 off. So disregard any of these down here.
Okay.
Don't touch any of these down here, because the second you do that, it's gonna tell it to go to a different section. So the only thing that he really should be pressing here is the MIDI out.
Now, does that cut on when the keyboard cuts on?
That's a good question, because this board I'm not really familiar with. So if I turn it off, it may cut back on. Some boards save
The last setting.
Yeah, like that's one thing. Yeah, so boom, it came right on.
Okay.
So as soon as it comes on, you should have full control up here. Now what I will do, because this is something that usually helps me, so that way it doesn't sound like the piano sustain, but everything else isn't. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna force all of the engines to read the sustain pedal, because right now only the keys is.
Okay.
So organ is now going to sustain, synth should sustain. So that means everything should all hold together. Which also helps him, because if he's changing the drawbars, it gives that sustain where he can quickly reach up, change, and come
And
back.
not notice anything.
Also, the beauty of it is you can fade out what you don't want. So if you ever want to have just that worship moment with no keys or bare keys, functionality, and like I said, even
Okay.
with turning out of here, if you want to just fade out, that's the beauty of having that there and having full control over it. That pedal keeps sliding. So if let's say for instance, if he wants to fade out and go straight to piano in a worship moment. There's no break because you still hear the piano sustaining out.
It almost transitions
Yeah.
automatically.
And even here with seamless transition,
Yeah.
still holds the same thing.
That's a synth.
So even there, like you can see, some of the synths are not sustained. So I'm gonna put everything to read the sustain pedal.
Okay.
Even the organ, because even right here, it's reading something different. So sustain pedal for all of that.
And then even when I swap out the sustain pedal,
It won't change anything.
Won't change anything.
It will
Okay.
not change any of the settings. The most that it'll do is it'll just read that it's a sustain pedal
Okay.
versus something else. So now everything sustains. So you have full control of all your drawbars. So you have full control all
Yeah.
the way through.
Nice.
Full
Okay.
control.
Good.